Representative-elect Adelita Grijalva and other Democrats are continuing to call out Speaker Mike Johnson for not swearing her into office. Grijalva won her special election in Arizona on September 23rd, but the speaker has given several different reasons, including the ongoing government shutdown, as to why he hasn't sworn her in yet.
Let's be clear. Speaker Johnson knows that I will be the 218th signature on the discharge petition for the Epstein files. He is doing everything in his power to shield this administration from accountability. That is not leadership. That is obstruction. Every day that I am not sworn in is another day that my constituents are blocked from critical constituent services and excluded from debates happening right now that affect their lives.
Those comments on Capitol Hill yesterday come after Grijalva and members of the Democratic Women's Caucus marched Tuesday night to Johnson's office, linked arm in arm. You see them there. Democrats also point out that Johnson swore in 2 Republican lawmakers the day after their special elections in April, while the House was not in session. We're going to hear more from Representative-elect Grijalva a bit later this morning on Morning Joe. Joining us here right now, Democratic Congressman Becca Balint of Vermont. So let's start there, because we know that it's not a fair excuse to say, well, we're in a pro forma session. We're not technically here. That's why I can't swear her in. I mean,
it's absurd.
So what is there that Democrats can do to actually pressure something on this? Why is Grijalva, this might be a glib question, but someone asked it to me the other day, not showing up saying, I'm here with a Bible, I'm ready to put my hand on it, let's do this at the Speaker's office?
She pretty much is. I mean, that's what I want people to know. She has done everything that she can do to make the case to the Speaker that the excuses that he is giving are not holding any water. He has sworn in Republicans in pro forma sessions. He has made sure that they are seated immediately. And here's the thing. I talked to Adelita yesterday. She said, I want Americans to know this isn't about me. Yeah. This is about the people of Arizona. They don't have representation right now. They deserve representation. And it should not be up to the Speaker of the House to decide which congressional district has representation. So she is there, she is in her office, and she's ready to do the work. And he needs to stop with the phony excuses.
And I think the other part of this that people don't understand is we don't often talk about one of the central parts of being a congressperson, which is constituent services. Yes. People calling saying, I need help with a visa. I need help with one of the local services that I'm supposed to get and I'm not getting. It's not sexy. We don't talk about it here. But when she says my constituents don't have that representation, that is what she's talking about. And she's talking about it amid an ongoing government shutdown. And so I want to ask you about something that Senate Majority Leader John Thune said to me yesterday. We spoke exclusively, and he expressed some discomfort with rescissions or the clawing back of funding that's already been appropriated by Congress. Listen to what he told me.
There's a question about pocket rescissions, which is going to be settled, I think, by the courts. But the rescission power is something that constitutionally the president has. The question of whether they use it or not, yeah, I mean, that's obviously something I think that they would need to talk to the White House about. But I think if we get it back to doing the appropriations process, which we can do once we open the government up, and in the traditional way, which is having a transparent, open process where the committees function, Democrats and Republicans weigh in, and then we put it on the floor, we have an open amendment process, fund the government the old-fashioned way, I don't think you need rescissions.
And I think
that's the argument I would make to the White House.
I think there's an appetite for that. Have you said to them that maybe don't do another rescissions package? It feels like it's poisoned the well. Have you asked them not to keep doing
I've had conversations on that subject with the White House, and I do think that it's in everybody's best interest, including the White House, to have a normal appropriations process where people are bought in.
So it sounds like you'd like them to stop.
Well, look, I mean, like I said, I want a normal appropriations process. I've made that very clear to my colleagues on both sides of the aisle. I think they both want that, and I think we can accomplish that. And I promised it.
This sounds like a man who's not super comfortable with the way that rescissions have made it that much more difficult to do anything bipartisan. When you hear that he's talking about it that way, that he's told me yesterday, I promised Senate Democrats that they could have a vote on ACA subsidies, I just can't guarantee that that's going to pass. Does that change anything here? Do Democrats risk, when you hear that, looking like they're the ones obstructing at this point?
So what's interesting as I listen to Leader Thune is remembering the conversations that I've had with Senate Democrats who have said they have asked their colleagues, Republican colleagues behind closed doors, aren't you afraid that your voters are going to be enraged with you, that you are not standing up for their health care? And what they say is, yes, but we're more afraid of President Trump. Whether it is Republicans in the Senate or Republicans in the House. They have completely abdicated their responsibility. The House and the Senate, we decide how the money is going to be spent. The framers, I was a history teacher, the framers never imagined that Congress would give up its powers of the purse. And so he can go on and say he's uncomfortable. But what matters is, does he stand up to the person that is the head of his party saying, this is our responsibility as members of Congress, and you are making it not just difficult to do our jobs, you are making it impossible for us to stand up for our people back home. And that's what we were sent here to do.
And I do think that idea of showing discomfort with White House strategies. And at a later point in the interview, which we'll see later on Morning Joe, we talk about the way that he does voice his dissent when he has issues with something in the White House. He said, sometimes I get the changes I want, sometimes I don't. But I think this is clearly an instance where the Senate Majority Leader is saying rescissions make my job harder. And yet you see the OMB director and others continuing to press these agendas. We're going to leave it there for now, but there's a lot for us to continue unpacking. I'm sure we'll see you again soon. Democratic Congresswoman Becca Balint of Vermont, I thank you for coming on with us. We're going to ask you to stay for one more second, though, because you know that we always ask our viewers, why are you awake? Lauren writes in, she says, I'm behind on writing my postcards to swing states, reminding New Jersey residents of the upcoming November 4th election, finishing these last 150 since 3 a.m. That is like peak grassroots voter activation.
I love that. I love everything about that. I love 3 a.m. I love that she's writing postcards. I love that she's reaching out to other Americans. Perfect.
Endorsed by Way Too Early, the 3 a.m. wake-up call, 100%. Margie emails, I'm listening way too early because I'm driving straight through from Lancaster, Pennsylvania to Tallahassee, Florida. Oh, my God. I'm currently somewhere near Macon, Georgia. Almost there. I really hope that you're stopping for, like, the good Starbucks, a shaken espresso. You need something. Or maybe Celsius. I don't know. You know that's my drink of choice in the morning. Glenn sends along this photo and says, I get up every morning to watch Way Too Early, and Rosie's watching it right there with me. Oh, that's so perfect. We love to see it. Little puppy curled up on the couch.
There's nothing better.
There's nothing better, except for being on set for Way Too Early.
Oh, 100%.
100%. Thank you again, Congresswoman. I'll see you on Capitol Hill.